Today began like any other in our charming Ohio town, where life flows with the ease of a gentle stream, familiar and tranquil. Craig, my husband, had departed for work, his scent still hanging in the air, a soothing echo of our morning ritual. As I tended to our garden, Butch, our steadfast German shepherd, accompanied me, his tail wagging with the pure delight of our shared presence. As the sun sank lower, casting elongated shadows over our dwelling, an uneasy sensation began to envelop me, reminiscent of the initial murmur of a tempest on an otherwise tranquil day. Craig returned, his hands poised to ease the day's tension with a massage, yet an unsettling feeling lingered in the air. While his fingers wove their enchantment, my thoughts drifted, plagued by an unsettling feeling that grew ever stronger. In an instant that disrupted our serene existence, Butch committed an act so unimaginable it would alter the course of our lives forever. What transpired next plunged me into a deep contemplation of the very essence of our seemingly flawless existence. As I reclined there, the aroma of lavender oil taunted the tranquility it had once assured. I pondered whether our love could endure the tempest that was on the horizon. In the year 1970, I find myself, Carol, immersed in what many would describe as an idyllic existence within a charming little town in Ohio. My husband, Craig, embodies the spirit of a diligent mechanic, his heart radiating warmth and kindness. Together, we inhabit our snug abode alongside our devoted German shepherd, Butch. Our days unfold within the embrace of a soothing routine. As Craig departs for work in the early hours, the lingering aroma of his aftershave fills the space, a reminder of his presence. I take on the responsibilities of the household, nurturing the garden, while Butch, my faithful companion, adds a touch of joy with his playful antics, ever by my side. Our evenings transform into a sanctuary, a sacred space where the outside world dissolves, leaving only the three of us in our intimate embrace. Frequently, following our evening meal, Craig would offer me a massage, his powerful hands skillfully easing the tensions of the day, transforming our bedroom into a sanctuary of tranquility. It has transformed into our cherished sanctuary, a fleeting instance where time halts, and the only things that hold significance are the comforting caress of his hand, the soothing cadence of his whispers, and the tender snores of Butch nestled at the foot of the bed. Yet today an unmistakable shift lingers in the air. While Craig's hands work to alleviate the burdens of the day, I am struck by an unexpected tension, my thoughts drifting toward the ordinary chores that lie ahead. The grocery list looms, the laundry piles high, and the relentless cycle of chores expands, each day bringing forth new tasks to conquer. Craig, with his keen intuition, picks up on my preoccupation. "You seem distant today, my love," he murmurs, his breath a gentle warmth against my ear. A smile dances on my lips as I contemplate the ceaseless to-do list that stretches before me. He lets out a gentle chuckle, a soothing sound that wraps around you like a warm embrace. "Allow me to retrieve some lavender oil. It will surely aid in your relaxation." Craig departs, leaving me sprawled on our bed as the gentle afternoon light seeps through the curtains, enveloping the room in a tender warmth. The bed envelops me like a soft cloud, the sheets whispering coolness against my skin. As I shut my eyes, I strive to release the tension that grips me, yet my thoughts remain restless, unwilling to find peace. The echo of Craig's footsteps fades away, leaving me enveloped in the soft murmur of the house. The clock in the living room ticks steadily in the background, while Butch, having settled beside me, occasionally stirs, his head gently resting on my stomach. What could possibly unravel in such a tranquil environment? The inquiry hangs suspended, as though the cosmos is poised, anticipating the revelation. The serenity of the moment seems almost surreal, reminiscent of the stillness that precedes a tempest. I make an effort to dispel the discomfort, redirecting my thoughts to the eager expectation of Craig's arrival, the comforting touch of his hands, and the calming aroma of lavender that will soon envelop the space. Yet, beneath the surface there lingers an unsettling notion, a murmur of discontent, suggesting that today our familiar patterns may be upended. Perhaps it is merely the burden of the day, or maybe it is something deeper, something that hovers just out of reach of my awareness. The door emits a soft creak as Craig steps back inside, a bottle of lavender oil clutched in his hand, his smile radiating warmth and reassurance. "This should do the trick," he says, his voice soothing my restless thoughts. As he continues the massage, the scent of the oil wraps around us, and I strive to yield to the present, to the warmth and affection of our intimate realm. Yet, the tension lingers, refusing to fade completely. It hangs in the air like an unspoken truth, a quiet acknowledgement that even in utopia, there may dwell hidden dangers. Craig's touch is nothing short of enchanting, his fingers gliding over my skin, gently urging the muscles to let go of their tension. As I surrender to the gentle embrace of the moment, the warmth envelops me. The soothing aroma of lavender fills the air, and the steady cadence of his touch lulls me into a serene state of near tranquility. As I recline in that tranquil space, the calm feels delicate, teetering on the brink of disruption, as if the very fabric of our serene existence could unravel at any instant. For the moment, I surrender to the feeling, to the affection and tenderness woven into each of Craig's gestures, trusting that whatever challenges lie ahead, we will confront them side by side, just as we always have. As Craig's hands move in a rhythmic dance across my skin, the soothing scent of lavender oil envelops the air, calming my senses. We engage in conversation about our day, indulging in the familiar small talk that bridges the silence that lingers between us. He recounts the battle he faced with the obstinate engine at the shop, while I divulge the ordinary yet strangely reassuring snippets of my day, the garden's quiet growth, the rhythmic folding of laundry, and the perpetual cycle of chores that fill my hours. "You know, I think I might have discovered a new method to repair that old Ford," Craig muses, his voice a soft whisper. "However, I must consult with my brother. He has always possessed a remarkable talent for such matters." I nod, sensing the tension gradually dissolve beneath his gentle touch. "That sounds like a plan," I respond, my voice gentle, nearly fading into the serene stillness surrounding us. Craig's hands come to a halt, and he turns to me, his eyes filled with that well-known, affectionate warmth. I must make a brief call to him. It seems he's been experiencing some car troubles of his own. I assure you, it will be concise. A smile graces my lips as I grasp the profound connection shared between brothers, an unvoiced agreement to support one another through thick and thin. "Certainly, please proceed. I shall remain right here." He offers my shoulder a soft squeeze before rising, his warmth departing and leaving an emptiness beside me. The absence of his presence renders the room cooler, amplifying the weight of the silence that envelops it. As I shut my eyes, I strive to cling to the soothing calmness, yet the serenity is swiftly shattered by the rhythmic tapping of Butch's nails against the hardwood floor. Butch, our steadfast companion, has long been woven into the fabric of our family, yet today his presence strikes an oddly intrusive note. I sense his presence near the bed, his tail a joyful blur, and a smile spreads across my face as I anticipate his familiar, loving nudge. Yet what unfolds next is a turn of events I could never have foreseen. The bed sinks gently under Butch's leap, his presence both known and surprising. His breath brushes against my face, warm and subtly damp. What should have been a soft prod transforms into an unexpected jolt of agony as his teeth seize my ear with a fierce grip. I draw in a sharp breath, my eyes snapping wide as shock and pain intertwine in a bewildering surge. "Rugged," I call out, my voice a blend of astonishment and anguish. He lets me go at once, his ears pinning back in a manner that suggests either confusion or a hint of guilt. I rise, my fingers instinctively brushing against my ear, sensing the warmth of blood as it trickles down. My heart pounds, not merely from the agony, but from the startling surprise of the event. Butch, a gentle soul unaccustomed to hostility, gazes at me with his large brown eyes. His tail lies motionless and his body is taut with an uncharacteristic tension. "What has stirred within you?" I murmur softly, more to my own thoughts than to him, seeking clarity in the aftermath of recent events. The atmosphere in the room has shifted, imbued with a palpable energy that was previously absent. The lavender scent, once a balm for the soul, now appears to taunt the tranquility it once vowed to deliver. I cast a fleeting look at the door, half anticipating Craig's return, yearning for him to unravel the mystery behind this abrupt disruption in our tranquil existence. Butch lets out a soft whine, his head drooping, and I extend my hand toward him, a slight tremor coursing through my fingers. He permits my touch, his body quivering beneath my fingertips. He appears to be just as taken aback by his own actions as I am. I reclined once more, thoughts swirling in a frenetic dance. Did I do something wrong? Did I inadvertently cause him pain earlier? Or could there be an underlying force, something darker lurking beneath the surface? The queries dance in my thoughts, each one more disquieting than the previous. The serenity of our bedroom, once a refuge, now resembles a stage where a drama is gradually revealing itself. As I shut my eyes once more, I seek to reclaim a fragment of tranquility, yet the pulsating ache in my ear serves as an unyielding reminder of the disruption in our once serene existence. As I linger in anticipation of Craig's return, the stillness of the house deepens, saturated with an unvoiced tension. What might have driven Butch to act in such a manner? What implications does this hold for the remainder of our evening, for the tapestry of our lives? The once soothing anticipation of Craig's return has transformed into a palpable urgency. His presence is essential, not merely for the physical solace it brings, but for the emotional strength needed to traverse this abrupt and disorienting shift in our otherwise steady existence. Yet here I remain, enveloped in the lingering aroma of lavender oil, a poignant juxtaposition to the tension that now permeates the space. I wait, clinging to the hope that when Craig returns, he will bring with him the answers I seek, or at the very least, a means to mend the tranquility that was so suddenly disrupted. As I reclined, teetering on the edge of slumber, the lingering aroma of lavender oil enveloped me, and I sensed the bed shift beneath Butch's presence. He lay close beside me like usual, but something in his demeanor felt off today. Rather than his customary playful nudge or the soft touch of his paw on my arm, Butch surprises me with an entirely unexpected gesture. His demeanor oscillates between playful and a raw instinctual essence that eludes my understanding. He leaps onto the bed with a suddenness that takes me by surprise, and before I can gather my wits, he's positioned above me. His behavior is fierce and unexpected, leaving me taken aback. A wave of panic washes over me as I attempt to shove him aside, yet his strength proves insurmountable. In this bewildering moment, I am paralyzed by shock and confusion, unable to respond with the swiftness I desire. The circumstances spiral out of my grasp, and in an instant of pure dread, I comprehend the gravity of what has transpired. Butch, our loyal companion, acted out in a way I never expected, and it left me shaken and confused. Thoughts swirl chaotically, grappling with the shadows of this haunting dream. What could have led to this occurrence? How could our sweet, affectionate dog act in such a way? The chamber, once a refuge, now resembles a prison. The lavender scent, once calming, now felt strangely out of place. Here I am, enveloped in solitude, grappling with this turmoil, this breach, while the heaviness of Butch's form continues to bear down upon me. I succeed in shoving him away, my hands quaking, my heart racing within my chest. Butch gazes at me, his eyes wide with surprise, his tail now still. He appears to be just as astonished by his own actions as I am. I rise, wrapping the sheet around my form, a sense of vulnerability washing over me, an intrusion of a kind I had never fathomed before. The sting from his earlier nip was nothing compared to the turmoil I felt inside. Tears gather in my eyes, not solely from the physical agony, but from the sting of betrayal and the haze of confusion. How can I possibly convey this to Craig? The mere thought stirs a tumultuous wave of nausea within me. I cast a fleeting look at the door, yearning for Craig's return, for his reassuring presence to bring clarity to this tumult. Yet the stillness of the house is overwhelming, leaving me in solitude with my thoughts, accompanied only by Butch, who now whimpers gently at the foot of the bed. I make an effort to steady my breath, seeking clarity in my thoughts. Did I do something wrong? Did I inadvertently cause him pain earlier? Or could there be an underlying force, something darker lurking beneath the surface? The questions dance in my mind, each one more disquieting than the previous. The serenity of our bedroom, once a sanctuary, now resembles the backdrop of a dramatic narrative, a tale I never wished to inhabit. As I shut my eyes, I seek to reclaim a fragment of tranquility, yet the pulsing in my ear and the recent violation anchor me firmly to this unforgiving truth. As I await Craig's arrival, the silence deepens, saturated with an unvoiced tension. What might have driven Butch to act in such a manner? What implications could this hold for the remainder of our evening, for the course of our lives? The once comforting anticipation of Craig's return now pulses with an undeniable urgency. His presence is essential, not merely for the physical solace he provides, but for the emotional strength needed to maneuver through this abrupt and disorienting shift in our otherwise stable existence. Yet here I remain, enveloped in the lingering scent of lavender oil, a soothing aroma that stands in stark contrast to the tension now permeating the room. I wait, clinging to the hope that when Craig returns, he will bring with him answers, or, at the very least, a means to mend the tranquility that was so suddenly disrupted. The gravity of the recent events bears down on me, more oppressive than Butch's lifeless form, prompting a deep reflection on how we might ever reclaim the existence we had mere moments before. The consequences have rendered me utterly stunned. I finally succeed in pushing Butch away and sit upright, my mind swirling with a torrent of thoughts. What could have led to this unfolding? What implications does this hold for our family? Regarding my relationship with Craig? The atmosphere is stifling. The previously soothing aroma of lavender now overwhelming and repulsive. The sound of Craig's footsteps draws nearer, and my heart races within my chest. I hastily adjust my attire, striving to regain my composure. Craig steps inside, unaware of the inner chaos swirling within me, and continues the massage, inquiring if I'm feeling any better. I nod, my voice trapped in my throat, unable to articulate a single word. The caress of his hands, once a sanctuary of solace, now serves as a haunting echo of the recent events. I yearn to convey to him the chilling reality of what transpired, yet the words elude me. Instead, I found myself lying there, my body taut, while my mind swirled in a tempest of confusion and dread. Craig's voice pierces the veil of my contemplation. "Carol, you seem to be carrying a lot of tension still. What seems to be the matter?" His worry hangs in the air, his hands lingering on my back, poised for an explanation. I gulp, the knot in my throat rendering my words elusive. It's merely a slight headache, nothing more. The truth eludes me, each syllable a sharp pang against my palate. He continues the massage, his hands soft and deliberate, working to untangle the knots that have settled not only in my muscles, but deep within my soul. Every stroke resonates like an interrogation, a quiet entreaty urging me to unveil the unutterable, to reveal what lies beneath the surface. The room envelops us in silence, punctuated only by the gentle caress of his hands gliding over my skin, the subtle rustling of the sheets, and the faint, rhythmic ticking of the clock in the distance. I shut my eyes, seeking refuge in the shadows that lie behind my lids, yet all that fills my mind is Butch's perplexed gaze, his tail stilled, his form taut with either remorse or uncertainty. Craig's voice drifts like a soft breeze. "You're aware that you can share anything with me, aren't you?" How can I convey to him that our cherished dog, a true member of our family, has crossed an unforgivable boundary? I felt shaken, as if the bond I thought I understood had suddenly cracked. The massage lingers on, and with every fleeting moment, the burden of my silence becomes increasingly profound. A sense of betrayal weighs heavily on me as I remain silent, holding this burden close instead of voicing it to Craig. Yet the dread of his response, of the potential consequences for us, renders me silent. As Craig's hands move over my shoulders, I attempt to concentrate on the sensation, the warmth of his touch enveloping me. Yet my thoughts continually wander back to Butch, to the jarring shock and the ache that lingers, both in body and spirit. The atmosphere thickens, as if the very walls are leaning in, murmuring the hidden truths I guard so closely. Craig's hands linger momentarily, and he bends closer to press a gentle kiss on my temple. My heart belongs to you, Carol. Whatever it may be, we shall confront it side by side, he whispers, his breath a gentle warmth against my skin. His words, intended to soothe, merely intensify the pain within my heart. I yearn to place my faith in him, to hold on to the hope that we can endure any tempest, yet this feels like a tempest far too fierce, far too erratic. I force a fragile smile, my eyes remaining shut, concealing the chaos inside. I understand, Craig. I cherish you as well, I murmur in response, the words echoing emptily, a sharp juxtaposition to the chaos within. The massage concludes, and Craig assists me in sitting up, his hands resting gently on my arms, providing a sense of support. As I gaze upon him, truly gaze, I perceive the love and concern intricately woven into the lines of his face. Will I ever summon the bravery to reveal my feelings to him? The question lingers, suspended like the rich aroma of lavender, now taunting the tranquility it once assured. As he steps out to cleanse his hands, I find myself alone with my musings, accompanied by Butch, who now rests serenely at the foot of the bed, his head resting on his paws, gazing up at me with those soulful brown eyes. The stillness that envelops us crackles with the weight of unvoiced regrets and uncertainty. I extend my hand toward him, a slight tremor coursing through my fingers, and he permits me to caress his head, his body quivering ever so slightly in response. He appears just as stunned by his actions as I am. Yet the connection we once had, the trust we built, now lies in ruins, supplanted by an abyss of doubt. The serenity of our bedroom, once a sanctuary, now resembles a stage for a drama in progress, a narrative I never wished to enter. As I shut my eyes once more, I seek to reclaim a fragment of tranquility, yet the pulsating ache in my ear and the recent violation anchor me firmly to this unforgiving reality. As I linger in anticipation of Craig's return, the stillness of the house deepens, saturated with an unvoiced tension. What might have driven Butch to act in such a manner? What implications does this hold for the remainder of our evening, for our lives ahead? The once soothing anticipation of Craig's return now brims with a palpable urgency. I require his presence, not solely for the tangible solace, but for the emotional fortitude to steer through this abrupt and disconcerting shift in our otherwise stable existence. For the moment, I remain there, the scent of lavender oil still hanging in the air, a sharp juxtaposition to the tension that now envelops the space. I wait, clinging to the hope that when Craig returns, he will bring answers, or, at the very least, a means to mend the tranquility that was so suddenly disrupted. The burden of recent events bears down on me, more oppressive than Butch's lifeless form, prompting a deep reflection on how we might ever reclaim the existence we once knew mere moments before. The coming days unfold in a haze of indistinct moments. A chasm of distance separates me from Butch, my gaze faltering, ensnared by a tumult of fear, guilt, and confusion that swirls within me. Each encounter with him sends my thoughts spiraling back to that instant, that breach that lingers like a blemish on our previously flawless existence. Craig observes the shift in my demeanor, yet he ascribes it to stress or possibly a slight ailment. His caring nature and attentive demeanor have always been a comfort, yet this time his concern casts a harsh light on my hidden truth, amplifying the weight I carry. One evening, as we gather around the dinner table, the silence envelops us, thick with the weight of unexpressed thoughts. With a soft suggestion, Craig interjects, I've been thinking. Perhaps Butch could use a bit more exercise. He appears to be somewhat unsettled of late. Thoughts swirl and intertwine within the confines of my imagination. A moment presents itself, a fleeting opportunity to reveal my truth, yet the words elude me. In lieu of other options, I find myself in agreement, proposing that we extend Butch's walks with the hope that this might somehow mend the circumstances, or at the very least, provide me with the space to reflect on the events that transpired. "That's a good idea," I managed to articulate, my voice echoing strangely in my own ears. "Perhaps a breath of fresh air would benefit us all." Craig nods, his gaze probing into mine, seeking an elusive understanding behind my withdrawn demeanor. After dinner, I plan to take him out. "Perhaps you would like to join us." I nod, yet within me a tempest rages. Can a simple walk truly mend what has been shattered? The mere idea of being close to Butch, of feigning normalcy, strikes me as a profound betrayal, not just to myself, but to the life we've built together. Yet, I find myself unable to confide in Craig. His potential reaction looms over me, a shadow that stifles my voice and binds my thoughts, leaving me in a state of silence. Once the dinner plates are cleared, we make our way outside. The cool evening air envelops the surroundings, while the sky transforms into a canvas of orange and pink, marking the sun's descent. Butch strides forward, his tail a lively banner, blissfully unaware of the chaos he has left in his wake. Craig's hand envelops mine, a warmth that soothes yet serves as a poignant reminder of the secrets I keep from him. We traverse the path in quietude, the only symphony accompanying us being the rhythm of our footsteps and the sporadic barks of Butch, who dashes after a squirrel or investigates a curious scent. I strive to immerse myself in the beauty that surrounds us, the tranquility of our quaint town, yet my thoughts persistently wander back to that fateful day, to the astonishment and the anguish it brought. Craig finally breaks the silence, his voice barely above a whisper. "You've been unusually quiet lately, Carol. Is there a topic on your mind that you'd like to discuss?" As I gaze upon him, truly gaze, I perceive the love and worry carved into his very expression. The words linger just out of reach, stubbornly eluding my grasp. I find myself in a state of unease lately. I declare, the deception leaves a sour taste. Perhaps I am succumbing to an ailment. He grips my hand gently, suggesting that if you're unwell, it might be best to return. You need to take care of yourself and rest. I shake my head, a firm no. Let's continue our walk. I believe it's doing us good. Yet, as we press on, every stride seems to draw us further away from the truth, from the existence we once embraced. The stroll, intended to be restorative, resembles a facade, a display of normalcy that I question my ability to maintain. Butch, perhaps sensing the tension in the air, returns to us, his head bowed, his eyes lifting to meet mine with an expression that feels almost like an apology. I extend my hand toward him, a slight tremor coursing through my fingers, and he permits me to caress his head. His body quivers beneath my fingers, evoking memories of his appearance after that incident, lost and burdened by guilt. The walk concludes, and we make our way back home. The silence that envelops us now feels even more tangible. Craig offers me the chance to rest as he tends to Butch, preparing his dinner and ensuring he is settled for the night. I observe them, my heart heavy with longing. How can I harmonize the affection I hold for both of them with the dread of what transpired? As I lie in bed, I shut my eyes, seeking refuge in the enveloping darkness. Yet, all that fills my mind is the image of Butch's perplexed gaze, his tail still, his body taut with an unsettling mix of guilt and confusion. The serenity of our bedroom, once a sanctuary, now resembles a stage for a drama in progress, a narrative I never wished to enter. As I linger on the edge of slumber, the stillness of the house deepens, imbued with an unvoiced tension. What might have driven Butch to exhibit such behavior? What implications does this hold for the remainder of our evening, for our lives ahead? The once comforting anticipation of Craig's return now brims with an unsettling urgency. I require his presence, not merely for the solace of physical closeness, but for the emotional fortitude to steer through this abrupt and disconcerting shift in our otherwise steady existence. Yet here I remain, enveloped in the lingering scent of lavender oil, a soothing aroma that stands in sharp contrast to the tension now pervading the room. I wait, clinging to the hope that when Craig returns, he will bring with him answers, or, at the very least, a means to mend the tranquility that was so suddenly disrupted. The burden of recent events bears down on me, more oppressive than Butch's lifeless form, prompting a deep contemplation of how we might ever reclaim the existence we once knew mere moments ago. Weeks have drifted by since that disquieting day, and existence has woven itself into a fresh tapestry of normalcy. I have successfully tucked the incident away, shoving it into the shadowy recesses of my thoughts. Still, it remains a quiet ghost haunting our abode. Craig and I persist in our daily rituals, yet an unvoiced chasm has emerged, a wall I've erected to shield him from the reality I carry within. Amidst the routine of tidying up, I stumble upon a bottle of lavender oil. Memories surge forth, sharp and intrusive. I resolve, then, that certain truths are perhaps best kept in silence. I let the oil cascade into the sink, observing its graceful swirl as it embodies my choice to release the burdens of the past. As dusk settles, Craig steps through the door, his very being infusing the home with a comforting glow. He envelops me in his arms, and I surrender to his embrace, savoring the warmth of his touch. I am certain of the decision I have reached. Our shared journey, though transformed, shall persist. We shall guard our secrets, our quiet understandings, and maybe, with the passage of time, discover solace in what remains unvoiced. Yet, as I linger in his embrace, a question lingers in my mind. Will the truth ever be completely concealed, or will it inevitably rise to the surface? As days morph into weeks, the cadence of our existence reestablishes itself, though tinged with an imperceptible change. My focus on Craig's needs has intensified, possibly as a means to atone for the hidden truth I carry within. We laugh and share, yet a fragment of my being lingers in the shadows, irrevocably altered by that fateful afternoon. As the sun dips below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the evening, I feel Craig's hand gently intertwine with mine while we sit on the porch, lost in the moment. "You've changed, Carol," he murmurs, his eyes locked on the distant horizon. "It seems there's a hidden truth you're withholding from me." My heart flutters, burdened by the heaviness of my hidden truth. "It's of no consequence, Craig." "Just life, I suppose," I respond, my voice scarcely rising above a whisper. He nods, yet his gaze remains fixed on me, probing. I avert my eyes, unable to confront his gaze, terrified that he might glimpse the truth lurking within my soul. The following day, as I tend to the garden, Butch settles down beside me. His presence, once a source of solace, now evokes a tumult of feelings. I caress his fur, the well-known texture beneath my fingertips, yet the connection seems frayed, akin to a thread stretched to its limit. Craig approaches, his silhouette casting a shadow over me. "I was pondering," he begins, his tone tentative. "Perhaps it would be wise to bring Butch to the veterinarian. He has been behaving in a rather unusual manner." My stomach twists in turmoil. Is this the moment we've been waiting for? Might this be the spark that compels the truth to emerge? Perhaps. I maintain a neutral tone in my voice. He appears to be somewhat unusual. Craig's suggestion lingers, a tantalizing opportunity to unveil the truth. Yet I find myself unable to do so. The dread of losing what we cherish, of witnessing the affection in Craig's gaze morph into something unfamiliar, renders my lips tightly shut. That night, as we recline in bed, the stillness enveloping us is almost tangible. Craig extends his hand toward me, his touch soft and deliberate, yearning for a bond. I reply, yet my thoughts drift away, revisiting the event, the bewilderment, the breach of trust. His hands glide over my skin, attempting to ease the tension, yet all I can sense is the heavy burden of my secret. "You're so tense, Carol," he whispers, his breath a warm caress against my neck. "What weighs on your mind?" I pivot to confront him, our gazes locking in the soft glow of the fading light. "Merely existence," I echo, my tone empty. He draws me nearer, his hold a wordless vow of unwavering support. "We will navigate through whatever challenges lie ahead," he reassures, his voice a blend of strength and gentleness. I nod, tears welling in my eyes, stirred not only by the solace he provides, but also by the weight of my unspoken remorse. The room envelops us in silence, punctuated only by our steady breaths and the faint rustle of Butch as he finds his place for the night. As slumber slips through my fingers, I ponder whether this hidden truth will ever find its final resting place. Will it linger as a quiet phantom, or will it, much like an unruly weed in my garden, discover a path to break through the seams, unsettling the existence we've cultivated? The days unfold, each one a progression away from that pivotal moment. Yet every step feels like a delicate dance upon a taut wire. Craig and I exchange laughter and love, yet beneath the surface lies the unspoken truth that lingers between us. On a quiet afternoon, as I sift through the clutter of the attic, I stumble upon a dusty old photo album. As I turn the pages, I catch glimpses of our younger selves, unburdened and free, with Butch as a playful puppy, his eyes sparkling with mischief and affection. The disparity between the past and the present is striking, and it resonates deeply within me. I shut the album, my resolve unwavering. There are certain truths I've come to realize that are perhaps best kept in silence. They resemble seeds hidden beneath the surface, which, when brought to light, could blossom into something that might eclipse our shared existence. As the evening unfolds and Craig steps through the door, I welcome him with a kiss, accompanied by a sincere smile. As we gather around the dinner table, a rare sense of tranquility washes over me for the first time in weeks. We engage in conversations about the trivial, the weather, the neighbors, anything to avoid acknowledging the shadow that hangs above us. Once dinner has concluded, Craig proposes a stroll for just the two of us, leaving Butch behind in the comfort of our home. As we stroll together, fingers intertwined, the crisp evening air envelops us like an impending explosion. The town rests in a hushed stillness, where the only sounds that break the silence are the soft patter of footsteps and the gentle rustle of leaves dancing in the breeze. "You seem lighter tonight," Craig observes, his voice filled with a hint of optimism. I grasp his hand tightly. I exist. I have chosen to release certain aspects of my life, though I remain vague about the specifics. He gazes at me, his eyes probing, yet he refrains from pushing further. Instead, he envelops me in a warm embrace, right there on the sidewalk beneath the soft glow of the street lamps. "I love you, Carol," he whispers softly into my hair. "I love you too," I respond, my voice unwavering, the burden of my secret briefly alleviated by the depth of our connection. As we make our way home, a lingering question hangs in the air. Will the truth ever be completely buried, or will it inevitably rise to the surface? In this moment, I opt to embrace our love, to cherish the life we've built together. I hold on to the hope that the secrets we harbor will not shape our identity, but instead that the strength of our love will be sufficient to keep them at a distance. If you found the story enjoyable, consider subscribing, liking, and sharing your thoughts in the comments. This will enable us to craft more captivating narratives for you.